My name is Marsha Amani Putri. My mentor number is 1253498. So today I will open our presentation with the introduction of fatwas on Malaysian society. So the first thing, fatwa is the official legal rulings or opinion which made by the mufti. Who is mufti? Mufti is a qualified scholars in Malaysia. They will provide guidance to a Muslim on how Islamic law works in Malaysia. So, fatwa is used when there is a complex issue that are not directly explained in the Quran or a hadith. They will base their rulings based on the Quran and hadith, but if they didn't found anything, they will go to the secondary sources, which is qiyas and ijma. So, fatwa will make sure that their rulings are not based on the personal opinion, but it is based on the Islamic legal methodology, which is usul fiqh, qiyas, ijma, Quran or hadith. So, what is the connection between the fatwa and the society? Fatwa will help Muslims to shape their moral values and guide Muslims on how to behave in their society. Because society is referred to a community who live together in one place and share their common norms and they are ethical together. There's also a lot of community practicing their own religions in Malaysia. So, fatwa will help Muslims to navigate the responsibility while still maintaining their harmonization between them. So, the fatwa issue are always changing because of the growth of the technology in this era. This shows that fatwas are adaptable to the modern life as the technology gets so advanced. And lastly, for our introduction, fatwa are closely connected to society because they are issues based on the current situation. Without fatwa, Muslims will not hear and know the latest ruling that arise in new and changing era. Also, there is no one to ensure the Islamic teaching that remain prevalent in the modern society. So we will continue to the next explanation, which is the enforcement of fatwas in Malaysia. In Malaysia, the enforcement of fatwas is governed by a unique legal system, which explains that Islamic matter will fall under the authority of state. This has been explained in the Federal Constitution, Article 74, Clause 2. As a result, each state manage the influence of the fatwa via its own legal framework. So how is the process of making the fatwa? The first step, the process are usually begin with the state mufti, which they will study about the religious issue and presented it to the state fatwa committee, which is the second step. After they have presented it to state fatwa committee, they will bring it to the Sultan and Yang di-Pertuan Negeri, because the fatwa are only become legally binding after it has been approved by them. After it has been approved and published in the state gazette, all Muslims in the state are required to follow the fatwa. So how about the enactment? As stated under the 74 Clause 2 of Federal Constitution, Islamic affairs in Malaysia are placed under the jurisdiction of state and are governed by the state legislation. However, for the federal territories, Islamic matters are administered separately under the Administration of Islamic Law, Federal Territories Act 19 and 1903. This act provides legal framework for the establishment for the Majlis Agama Wilayah Persekutuan, which serve as the authority of the principal for advising the Yang di-Pertuan Agong on matter related to Islamic in the federal territories. And lastly, there is the other institution commonly known as the Jawatan Kuasa Fatwa, Jawatan Kuasa Syariah, and also Jawatan Kuasa Perunding Hukum Syarak. All of these institutions are responsible in discussing, deciding, and also issuing the rulings under the Muslim in their state. Also, we need to remember that fatwa is a religious opinion that are not legally binding until it is adopted by the state law.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nura Aiman Mitamat Faizal and my metric number is 1252939. Inshallah, today I would like to explain about the importance of fatwas in addressing contemporary issues in modern society. Fatwas play an important role in guiding Muslims when dealing with new challenges, especially in areas such as technology and medicines. Many modern issues such as organ transplantation, vaccination, assisted reproductive technologies, online transactions, and digital finance are not directly discussed in classical Islamic texts. Through fatwas, Muslims are provided with Sharia-compliant guidance that helps them understand what is permissible and appropriate in these situations. By balancing Islamic principles with current societal needs, fatwas enable Muslims to practice their religion with confidence while preserving public welfare and social harmony, ensuring that Islamic practices remain relevant and adaptable in a rapidly changing world. In addition, fatwas function as an authoritative reference in resolving differing opinions within the Muslim community. By offering clear and recognized rulings, fatwas help to prevent confusion and division among Muslims. They also support government and judicial institutions by providing guidance that assists in formulating policies and decisions aligned with Sharia principles. At the same time, fatwas educate society to approach Islamic rulings in a disciplined and knowledgeable manner, strengthening respect for religious authority and promoting unity within the community. Next, I will explain the social impact of fatwa. Firstly, fatwas play a key role in protecting society from deviant or heretical teachings. By identifying ajaran sesat, fatwas help preserve the correct understanding of Islam and prevent harm to individuals and society. In Malaysia, state fatwa committees such as those under Majlis Kebangsaan or state religious authorities have declared certain groups as deviant to protect public welfare. For example, in Malaysia, the National Council for Islamic Religious Affairs declared the teachings of Global Equine Service and Business Holdings (GISB) as deviant, prohibiting their spread. These fatwas serve as both religious guidance and social protection, helping Muslims avoid harmful ideologies while promoting orthodox teachings. Some fatwas also acquired legal enforceability, meaning violations can be acted upon by the courts. However, judicial oversight ensures fatwas respect constitutional boundaries, as seen when a 2025 federal court ruling limited the application of a Islamic fatwa to natural persons. Secondly, fatwas had a significant social impact during the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the social importance of fatwas in guiding communities during emergency. During this period, fatwa authorities guided Muslims to adapt their religious practices according to public health measures, such as performing solat at home and postponing Friday prayers to prevent virus transmission. By applying Islamic legal maxims like maslahah, public interest, and daruriyat necessities, these fatwas help reduce confusion, encourage compliance with health guidelines, and ensure public safety without compromising religious obligations. Fatwas during the pandemic strengthened trust between religious authorities and the community, showing their role as both religious and social instruments. In conclusion, fatwas are essential in both religious guidance and social regulation. They clarify Islamic law, help Muslims navigate contemporary challenges, and protect society from harmful practices, whether addressing heretical teachings or guiding communities through crises like COVID-19. Fatwas continue to play a central role in ensuring that Islamic principles are followed while maintaining social harmony. Thank you for your attention.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Kalisa Nabila binti Tazri. So today I will present to you about two cases related to our topic, which are the case of Halimatul Saadiyah versus Public Service Commission and the case of Ridato Bentari Luar. So from a socio-legal perspective, law operates alongside social values and religious beliefs. So in Malaysia, fatwas play an important role in guiding Muslim conduct, but their legal effect depends on constitutional and statutes recognition. So these two cases clearly illustrate that distinction. So we go to the case of Halimatus Sa'diah versus Public Service Commission. The plaintiff was a Muslim civil servant who wore the purdah at work, believing it to be a religious obligation. So the Public Service Commission prohibited these practices on the grounds of identification, communication, and professionalism. So when the plaintiff refused to comply, she was dismissed. So the legal issue raised was whether wearing the purdah constitute a protected religious practice under Article 11 Clause 1 of the Federal Constitution, which the FC guarantees the right to profess and practice one religion. Therefore, from a socio-legal perspective, this case shows how fatwas influence society by clarifying religious obligations and preventing personal interpretations from disrupting public administrations. So, it reinforced that religious freedom exists within constitutional limits. So now I will move to the second case, which is the case of Ri Datuk Bentara Luar. So this case involved a dispute over land allegedly given as wakaf by the deceased during his lifetime. So after his death, the land was still registered under his name, but the administrators of the estate argued that the wakaf was invalid and that the land should be distributed according to faraid. So the respondents rely on fatwa issued by the Majlis Agama Islam Johor, which recognise certain forms of wakaf and hibah as valid under Islamic law. So the key legal issue is whether this fatwa was binding on the civil courts. So the answer is the federal court held that the fatwa had no legal force because it had not been gazetted under the relevant state enactment. So the court emphasized that civil courts retain exclusive jurisdiction over probate, administration of estates, and property ownership, even when the parties involved are Muslims. Therefore, the social impact of this decision is educational. So it clarifies that Muslims must comply not only with Islamic principles but also with formal legal requirements such as land registration and probate procedures. So in conclusion, these two cases demonstrate that the impact of fatwas on Malaysia's society is significant but regulated, which means that fatwas influence how Muslims understand their religious obligations and guide institutional responses to religious issues, but their legal effect remains conditional. So from a socio-legal perspective, this balance helps preserve social harmony by respecting religious authority while ensuring that law remains predictable, uniform, and supreme within Malaysia's dual legal framework. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Now, I would like to present about challenges in implementation of fatwas in Malaysia. Firstly, the lack of standardization of fatwas across states poses a significant challenge. Under Article 76, Subsection 1B of the Federal Constitution, Islamic matters fall under state jurisdiction, resulting in each state having authority over its own fatwas, while most states adhere to the Shafi'i madhab, Perlis adopts a maslahah-based approach. This difference causes fatwas issued at the federal level to be ineffective unless accepted and gazetted by the respective states, making nationwide uniformity difficult to achieve. Secondly, interference from unauthorized parties further complicates the implementation of fatwas. Individuals without proper religious authority often challenge or contradict official fatwas through social media and online platforms. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, despite an official fatwa permitting vaccination, anti-vaccine groups spread opposing views, leading to public confusion and reduced trust in fatwa institutions. Thirdly, weaknesses in the dissemination of fatwas also affect their effectiveness. Many state fatwas are not widely publicized and can only be accessed through official gazettes or Mufti department websites, which are often outdated or unfamiliar to the public. As a result, Many people remain unaware of existing fatwas, reducing compliance and undermining the credibility of fatwa institutions. In conclusion, these challenges highlight the need for better coordination, authoritative control, and effective dissemination to strengthen the role of fatwas in Malaysian society. This slide highlights several recommendations to improve the administration of fatwas in Malaysia. Firstly, improving access to information is crucial. All gazetted fatwa should be disseminated through official digital fatwa portals of each state. This allows the public to easily access accurate and updated fatwas while also preventing misinterpretation. Secondly, the standardization of fatwas across states should be strengthened. Differences in fatwas may create confusion and false speculation among the public. A more uniform approach will help enhance public trust and confidence in fatwa institutions. Lastly, fatwa institutions must be responsive, especially to issues that go viral on social media. Quick and authoritative responses can prevent unauthorized parties from influencing society with misguided ideologies while also reinforcing the credibility of fatwa institutions.